Welcome, dear listener, as you gently settle into a comfortable place, allowing the weight of the day to slowly fade away. This story invites you to journey far from noise and urgency into one of the most ancient, beautiful, and living places. On Earth, the Amazon jungle, a realm where nature breathes in slow, powerful rhythms, and where every leaf, bird, and drop of mist carries. A story millions of years old, tonight's journey begins at dawn high above the forest floor, where the first golden light of morning touches the endless green canopy. And as you listen, there is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go. Simply let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts soften, allow this living world to unfold gently. In your imagination, the Amazon rainforest stretches across 9 South American countries and covers millions of square kilometers, making it the largest tropical rainforest on the planet, often called the lungs of the earth because it plays a vital role in regulating the global climate by absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. Organizations like Greenpeace have spent decades researching and protecting this region, explaining to the world how the Amazon is not just a forest, but a complex life support system for the entire planet. As dawn rises above the canopy, a soft mist drifts between the treetops, created by the forest itself through a process scientists call transpiration, where billions of leaves release moisture into the air, forming clouds that later return as rain. This self-sustaining cycle is one of the reasons the Amazon remains lush and alive, and conservation groups such as Rainforest Rescue often emphasize that protecting the forest means protecting this natural water cycle that supports agriculture, rivers, and human life far beyond South America. Now imagine yourself floating gently above this canopy, looking down at a sea of green that stretches beyond the horizon. The trees here are giant, some rising over 60 meters tall, having grown slowly for hundreds of years. Their branches interlock to form a living roof beneath which countless species find shelter, food, and balance. Researchers supported by organizations like the Rainforest Alliance have documented that the Amazon is home to around 10% of all known species on Earth, an astonishing concentration of life that exists nowhere else in such abundance. As the sun continues to rise, the forest awakens with sound. Distant yet soothing macaws glide through the air, their red, blue, and yellow feathers catching the early light like moving embers. Their calls echo across the treetops, not loud or harsh, but rhythmic and purposeful, serving as communication across vast distances. Scientists studying bird populations in the Amazon often work alongside conservation groups such as BirdLife International, which helps protect critical habitats so these birds can continue their ancient routines. Nearby toucans hop between branches, their oversized beaks not only striking in appearance, but perfectly evolved for reaching fruit on thin branches, demonstrating how nature shapes beauty through function. Below the canopy, though, unseen from above, millions of insects begin their day, quietly pollinating flowers, breaking down organic matter, and sustaining the foundation of the ecosystem. According to research frequently shared by Rainforest Rescue, more than 2 million insect species may inhabit the Amazon, many still undiscovered, each one playing a role in keeping the forest healthy and resilient. As you drift peacefully through this morning, notice how the forest does not rush. There is no urgency here. Life moves according to cycles far older than humanity. This calm persistence is something environmental educators from organizations like Greenpeace often highlight, reminding us that nature thrives through balance, not speed. The Amazon has existed in some form for over 50 million years, surviving climate shifts, ice ages, and continental changes, adapting slowly, patiently, perfectly as light filters. Deeper through gaps in the canopy, it touches layers of vegetation below. The understory and forest floor, where young trees wait decades for their moment to grow. This layered structure is one of the reasons the Amazon can support such extraordinary biodiversity, every level offering unique conditions for life researchers. Working with Rainforest Alliance explain that protecting large continuous areas of forest is essential because fragmentation disrupts these layers and the delicate relationships between species. Now imagine a gentle breeze moving through the leaves, creating a soft whispering sound like the forest breathing in unison. This sound is not empty, it carries information, warnings, invitations, and reassurance. Plants here even communicate, chemically releasing signals when threatened, alerting neighboring trees to prepare defenses. Discoveries like these, shared through environmental research, supported by global conservation networks, reveal that the Amazon is not silent or passive, but aware in its own natural way. As your breathing slows further, let the knowledge of this living intelligence soothe you, knowing that you are resting within a system far greater and wiser than human schedules or worries. Dawn continues to unfold, and shafts of sunlight now fully illuminate parts of the canopy, warming the leaves and awakening reptiles that bask quietly on branches, while mammals like sloths remain still, conserving energy. Their slow movements, a perfect reflection of the forest's pace. Wildlife researchers, supported by Rainforest Rescue, often point to animals like sloths as symbols of energy efficiency and harmony with nature, taking only what is needed, never more. The Amazon teaches this lesson gently, without words. As the morning progresses, clouds begin to form above the forest, born from the moisture released by the trees themselves, a reminder of how interconnected everything is here. Greenpeace frequently explains that deforestation threatens this process, reducing rainfall, not only locally, but across continents, affecting weather patterns far beyond the Amazon basin. Understanding this makes the forest feel even more precious, more alive, more worthy of care. Now, as you rest within this knowledge, imagine the forest offering you its calm, its patience, its deep time. You are safe here, floating above a world that knows how to exist in balance, how to renew itself each morning without haste or fear. This is only the beginning of our journey, the first breath of the Amazon at dawn, a living cathedral of leaves and light. And as your mind grows quieter, allow this peaceful awakening of the jungle to guide you gently toward rest, carrying with it the wisdom shared by those who protect it, study it, and love it. From Greenpeace to Rainforest Rescue, all reminding us that when we listen to the forest, we remember how to be still, how to breathe, and how to sleep peacefully within the arms of nature. Gentle breath of the Amazon at dawn slowly fades into calm, Awareness, your journey continues deeper into the living heart of the rainforest, where all paths of water, sound, and life quietly lead. And now, without hurry or interruption, we drift naturally into Chapter 2, following the pulse of the Amazon River, itself the great flowing artery that gives shape, movement, and memory to the jungle. Welcome back, dear listener. Remain exactly as you are comfortable and at ease, letting the steady rhythm of your breath mirror the slow eternal movement of water, because the Amazon River is not merely a river, it is a living system older than human civilization, stretching more than 6,000 kilometers, carrying nearly 20% of the world's flowing fresh water into the ocean, a fact documented and shared by research institutions and conservation educators such as National Geographic, World Wildlife Fund, and Greenpeace, who described the river as the circulatory system of the rainforest, nourishing forest animals and communities. Alike, imagine now that the canopy gently opens, revealing wide shimmering waters below, reflecting the pale blue of the sky. The river moves without sound that demands attention, instead it hums. Softly, a low, comforting presence, its current slow and deep, in some places lively and playful, and other scientists from organizations like the Amazon Conservation Association explain that the river's seasonal flooding is essential to life here. Each year, the water rises and spills into the forest, creating flooded forests known as varzea, where fish swim among. Tree trunks and nutrients are spread across the land, enriching the soil naturally. As you float above the sea, notice how life gathers at the water's edge. Birds glide low, skimming the surface, while butterflies rest briefly on drifting. Leaves the river reflects the sky like a moving mirror, creating a sense of endless space and openness that invites your thoughts to slow even further. Deep within this calm waters live some of the Amazon's most enchanting beings. Among them, the pink river dolphin, also known as the bodo, a creature that seems almost imagined rather than real. Conservation groups such as WWF and Rainforest Rescue often share research showing how these dolphins have adapted to murky river waters, using echolocation to navigate flooded forests. With astonishing precision, their pink color, more vivid in older individuals, comes from blood vessels close to the skin and subtle scarring from playful interactions, and as they surface gently, they appear like living dreams, rising and disappearing without effort. Indigenous cultures have long told stories of these dolphins as guardians of the river, and modern researchers now echo a similar respect, recognizing them as indicators of river health. When dolphins thrive, the ecosystem is balanced. Allow yourself to follow one such dolphin now, gliding effortlessly through slow-moving currents. Its movement, unhurried, perfectly aligned with the flow, teaching a quiet lesson about surrender and trust. The Amazon River also shelters countless fish species, over 3,000 identified so far, with new discoveries still being made. Ichthyologists, supported by institutions like the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute, Continue to document fish that glow, fish that breathe air, and fish that migrate into flooded forests to feed on fruit, spreading seeds through their digestion, a beautiful example of how water and forests cooperate in ways that science is still uncovering as the river bends gently, its banks lined with towering trees whose roots disappear into dark, nutrient-rich water. You may sense the calm intelligence of this place, where every movement has purpose, yet nothing feels rushed research. Shared by the Amazon Conservation Team, highlights how river dynamics shape not only wildlife, but also the climate itself, influencing rainfall patterns across South America and even affecting weather systems on other continents. Knowing this, the river becomes more than scenery. It becomes a steady, reassuring presence, a reminder that slow, consistent movement can sustain entire worlds. Now listen closely. The soundscape shifts, gentle splashes, distant bird calls, the soft rustle of leaves touching water. These natural sounds are often used by sleep researchers and sound therapists because they engage the brain in a non-threatening, repetitive rhythm, encouraging relaxation and deeper rest. Organizations focused on nature therapy often reference the Amazon River's sound environment as one of the most naturally calming on Earth. As daylight grows warmer, river otters appear along the banks, playful yet deeply bonded, moving together as families. Conservationists from Greenpeace often emphasize how such species rely on clean, uninterrupted waterways and how protecting rivers protects entire social structures within animal populations. Watch them now sliding into water, resurfacing with quiet joy, their presence light and reassuring above them. Tree branches arch protectively, forming natural corridors of shade. Now imagine the river carrying stories from far away, from the Andes Mountains, where its waters are born, to the Atlantic Ocean, where they finally meet the sea, carrying with them minerals, seeds, memories, and life. Researchers from National Geographic often describe the Amazon River as a storyteller, recording the history of the land through sediment layers and water chemistry. And as you drift with it, you too become part of this story. Weightless, unburdened, calm your thoughts, now flowing as smoothly as the current beneath. You, the river, teaches that nothing is truly still, yet nothing needs to hurry. As the afternoon light softens, clouds begin to gather once more, fed by the moisture rising from forest and river. A light completing the cycle described by climate scientists and conservation educators worldwide. The Amazon breathes water into the sky, and the sky returns it gently as rain, sustaining life endlessly. Let this knowledge settle into you like a warm blanket, reassuring and steady. And as Chapter 2 comes to rest, you remain floating upon the river's calm surface, heart and breath aligned with its ancient rhythm, ready to drift even deeper into the hidden worlds that await beyond the next. Then carried safely by water, wisdom, and time. Carried safely by water, wisdom, and time, and as the river's calm surface slowly fades behind you, the journey moves. gently inward away from open water and into the quiet hidden worlds beneath leaves, roots, and shadows where the Amazon reveals some of its most delicate and astonishing secrets. Welcome softly into Chapter 3, dear listener. Remain relaxed and still, allowing your breathing to deepen as we step off the riverbank and descend into the layered heart of the rainforest. A place often unseen yet endlessly alive, where life thrives not in grand scale but in subtle detail. This is the realm that scientists, biologists, and conservation researchers from organizations such as National Geographic, Rainforest Rescue, Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute, and Conservation International describe as the engine room of biodiversity, the understory and forest floor, where countless species quietly shape the balance of the entire ecosystem. As you move beneath the canopy, the light changes, instantly becoming softer, filtered through multiple layers of leaves, creating a green-tinted glow that feels cool and protective. Here the air is rich with moisture and scent, a living mixture of soil, flowers, and rain. Researchers studying rainforest microclimates explain that this dim, humid environment is essential for amphibians, insects, fungi, and plants that cannot survive direct sunlight. And as your senses adjust, the forest begins to reveal its smallest residents. Listen closely, and you may hear a faint rhythmic chirping, not loud or demanding, but gentle and consistent. These are frogs, among the Amazon's most iconic hidden creatures, including the brilliantly colored poison dart frogs, whose vibrant blues, reds, and yellows serve as warnings rather than decoration. Herpetologists, supported by organizations like Rainforest Alliance and National Geographic, have shown that these frogs' toxins come not from their own bodies but from their diet of specific insects. A powerful example how deeply interconnected life is here. Without the insects, the frogs lose their poison, and without intact forest, the insects disappear. This knowledge, often shared by Rainforest Rescue and educational outreach, reminds us that even the smallest disruption can echo through the system. Now imagine one such frog resting on a broad leaf, its skin glowing softly in the filtered light, completely still, conserving energy, waiting patience is survival here. Beneath that same leaf, tiny ants travel in organized lines, carrying fragments of leaves many times their own size. Leafcutter ants, studied extensively by scientists at the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute, are not simply gatherers but farmers cultivating underground fungus gardens that feed their colonies. These ants shape soil structure, recycle nutrients, and even influence plant growth. Yet they move silently, almost invisibly, teaching the forest how to work together without noise. As you drift deeper, roots emerge from the soil, like natural sculptures, twisting and arching above ground, creating shelters for insects, reptiles, and small mammals. Fallen leaves form a thick carpet beneath your feet, and within this layer, decomposition becomes creation. Fungi break down organic matter, returning nutrients to the soil. Conservation International often explains that without fungi and microorganisms, the rainforest would suffocate beneath its own abundance. Nothing would be recycled, nothing would grow anew. Now let your attention move toward a small stream cutting through the forest floor, its water clear and cool. Here lie fish so tiny and perfectly camouflaged they seem like living reflections. In recent years, scientists have continued to discover new fish species in such streams, some with unique fin structures or colors never documented before, findings often shared through research channels like the Journal of Fish Biology and supported by National Geographic explorers, reminding us that the Amazon still holds countless mysteries unseen and unnamed. As water flows gently over stones and roots, it creates a sound so subtle it barely registers, yet this sound has been studied by neuroscientists and sound therapists as one of the most effective natural frequencies for calming the human nervous system, allowing your body to relax even further. Now look closer at the leaves themselves. Some shimmer slightly, others appear translucent. These are home to glass frogs, whose transparent bellies reveal softly beating hearts, an image that has fascinated researchers and viewers alike, often featured by National Geographic as an example of evolutionary wonder. Their transparency helps them blend into their surroundings, becoming nearly invisible to predators. Safety through stillness, beauty through simplicity. Above them, vines hang like gentle curtains, connecting trees across gaps. These vines serve as highways for arboreal creatures, monkeys, insects, and reptiles, moving without ever touching the ground. Primatologists, supported by Rainforest Alliance, have shown that such connectivity is essential for animal movement, genetic diversity, and survival. When forests are fragmented, these living pathways disappear and life becomes isolated. Now feel the calm awareness of this place where nothing is wasted, nothing is rushed, even decay is purposeful. The forest floor breathes quietly, releasing warmth and moisture upward, feeding the canopy above. Scientists call this upward movement of energy and nutrients a vertical exchange, a concept often explained in educational materials by Conservation International to help people understand how the rainforest functions as a single living organism, not separate parts. As afternoon light slowly shifts, shadows lengthen, and colors deepen, nocturnal life begins to prepare. Insects adjust their rhythms, frogs grow slightly more vocal, and hidden mammals stir beneath roots and logs. Everything here responds to light, temperature, and moisture in perfect synchronization, a balance refined over millions of years. And as you rest within this hidden world, allow its lessons to settle gently into you, that strength does not always roar, that beauty does not always shine brightly, that the smallest lives often carry the greatest importance. Organizations like Rainforest Rescue often emphasize that protecting these unseen layers of the Amazon is just as critical as saving iconic animals. Because without the hidden world, the visible one collapses. Now, as Chapter 3 comes to a peaceful close, you remain surrounded by leaves, roots, and soft sounds. You're breathing slow, and even your mind calm and receptive, ready to move onward into the deeper rhythms of the jungle, knowing that beneath every step, beneath every leaf, life continues. Its quiet, perfect work. Life continues its quiet, perfect work, and as that gentle awareness settles deep within, you, the forest, seems to widen once more, drawing your attention upward and outward, away from the small and hidden toward the powerful presences that move through the Amazon with calm authority, and now, without breaking the rhythm of stillness, we enter Chapter 4, where the giants of the rainforest reveal themselves not through noise or force, but through grace, patience, and ancient strength. Remain relaxed, dear listener, allowing your breath to stay slow and steady, because this chapter is not about danger or fear, but about balance, respect, and the quiet confidence of nature's largest guardians as the understory gently opens. Towering trees stretch higher into the sky, their crowns forming vast platforms where some of the Amazon's most impressive animals live unseen. Researchers from National Geographic, Conservation International, and the Rainforest Alliance often describe the Amazon not as a single forest, but as a vertical world, and it is within these upper realms that the Great Watchers reside, high above the forest floor where sunlight is strongest and the air moves freely. Glide the harpy eagles, among the largest and most powerful birds of prey on Earth, with wings spanning over 2 meters, yet their flight is silent, effortless, a masterclass in efficiency. Ornithologists working with organizations like BirdLife International have studied how these eagles can perch for hours perfectly, still observing the forest below with extraordinary vision, waiting not out of hunger alone but patience. Their presence signals a healthy forest, because only intact ecosystems can support such apex species. Now imagine one such eagle resting on a massive branch, feathers slightly ruffled by the breeze, eyes calm and alert, not aggressive, simply aware its strength is not displayed. It is held quietly, like a deep breath, never fully released. Below, moving through the mid-levels of the forest, are the great tree dwellers, monkeys, whose movements are fluid and deliberate. Howler monkeys announce their presence not through violence, but through voice, their deep calls. Traveling kilometers through dense foliage, researchers from the Wildlife Conservation Society explain that these vocalizations help maintain social bonds and territory without constant conflict, conserving energy in an environment where efficiency is survival. Spider monkeys move differently, swinging gracefully from branch to branch, using long limbs and prehensile tails. Their movement has inspired biomechanical studies shared by National Geographic, revealing how evolution perfects form for function over millions of years. Now shift your attention downward toward the riverbanks and forest edges, where another giant moves with surprising gentleness. The giant river otter, playful yet powerful, social yet vigilant conservationists from Greenpeace and WWF off and highlight this species as a symbol of clean waterways, because giant river otters require abundant fish and undisturbed River systems to survive watch as a family glides through water, surfacing together. Their movements synchronize, their interactions filled with trust and communication. They remind us that strength does not isolate, it connects deeper. Still beneath the calm surface of the water lies a presence that many misunderstand, yet which plays a crucial role in the Amazon's balance: the anaconda, one of the world's largest snakes, moving slowly through flooded forests in quiet streams. Recent research reported by scientific teams collaborating with Conservation International and featured by National Geographic has even identified new genetic distinctions among anaconda populations, reminding us that even the largest animals still hold secrets. Anacondas are not aggressive hunters of legend, but patient ambush predators, conserving energy, striking only when necessary, regulating populations of prey, and maintaining ecological balance. Imagine one resting beneath the water's surface, nearly invisible, its movement slow and measured, perfectly adapted to its environment. Above ground, another giant walks softly on padded feet. The jaguar, often unseen yet deeply influential. Jaguars are apex predators whose presence shapes the behavior of countless other species. Studies by Panthera, a global wild cat conservation organization, show that where jaguars thrive, ecosystems are more stable because their role controls overpopulation and maintains healthy prey dynamics. Though you may not see the jaguar now, feel its presence as a quiet awareness, a reminder that true power often remains hidden, expressed through balance rather than display. As afternoon light shifts toward gold, these giants settle into rest or observation. None of them waste energy unnecessarily. Every movement has meaning, every pause has purpose. Conservation educators often emphasize this aspect of large animals, that their survival depends not on constant action, but on knowing when to act and when to be still. A lesson echoed across nature therapy. Research as a model for reducing stress and restoring mental balance in humans. Now notice how the forest responds to these giants smaller. Animals adjust their paths, birds change their calls, fish move differently. The presence of large species influences the entire ecosystem, a concept known as trophic cascades, frequently explained by Conservation International and WWF, showing how the loss of a single apex species can ripple through an environment, altering vegetation, water quality, and biodiversity. Understanding this makes the giants feel less like individuals and more like living pillars holding the forest upright through their existence. As your breathing deepens, further allow the calm authority of these beings to settle into you. There is no need to dominate, no need to rush, simply to exist fully within your role. The giants of the Amazon do not compete with the forest, they belong to it, shaped by it, sustained by it. As evening approaches, shadows lengthen and the forest grows quieter once more. The harpy eagle tucks its wings, monkeys curl into resting positions, river otters retreat to sheltered banks, and the unseen jaguar melts back into foliage. The forest exhales, and with it, so to you, Chapter 4 now gently comes to rest, leaving you wrapped in the steady grounding presence of the Amazon's great guardians, ready to drift onward into the softer mysteries of night, knowing that strength can be, gentle power can be. Quiet and balance is the greatest force of all. Ready to drift onward into the softer mysteries of night, knowing that strength can be gentle, power can be quiet, and balance is the greatest force of all. And as the sun slowly sinks behind the endless green horizon, the Amazon rainforest begins one of its most extraordinary transformations. Welcome to Chapter 5, dear listener. Remain exactly as you are, calm and still, because night in the Amazon does not arrive, suddenly unfolds. Gradually, like a deep exhale, shadows lengthen, colors soften, and the air cools just enough to signal the forest that it is time to change its rhythm. Researchers from National Geographic and Conservation International often describe the Amazon at dusk as a living orchestra tuning its instruments, preparing for a performance that has repeated itself every night for millions of years. As daylight fades, diurnal animals retreat into rest. Birds settle quietly into branches, their calls slowing and softening while nocturnal life begins to awaken beneath leaves, within hollow trunks, and along riverbanks. The first sounds are subtle, almost imperceptible insects begin their steady chorus, a rhythmic hum that scientists from bioacoustics research groups have shown can reduce human stress by synchronizing brainwaves into slower, more relaxed states. This is why rainforest night sounds are often used in deep sleep therapy and meditation, because they carry no urgency, only continuity. As darkness deepens, frogs emerge, their calls rising like gentle pulses through the humid air, each species calling at a specific frequency, a natural system studied extensively by herpetologists, supported by Rainforest Alliance, ensuring communication without overlap or chaos. Imagine the forest now illuminated by moonlight filtering through the canopy. Leaves glisten softly, and movement becomes slower, more deliberate. Predators and prey alike rely on patience rather than speed. Owls glide silently between branches, their wings evolved to disturb almost no air. Researchers from BirdLife International explain that this silence is crucial, allowing precise hunting without startling the forest. Meanwhile, bats take flight not as creatures of fear, but as essential caretakers of the night, pollinating flowers and controlling insect populations. Conservation groups, such as Bat Conservation International, emphasize that many Amazon plants depend entirely on nocturnal pollinators, without which entire ecosystems would collapse. As you listen, notice how night does not feel threatening here. It feels protective, enclosing the forest in darkness, so life can continue unseen. The river reflects the stars. Insects flicker like living constellations, bioluminescent. Fungi glow faintly along decaying logs, a phenomenon documented by researchers from the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute, showing how even decay becomes light, even endings become beauty. This night world teaches that rest and activity are not opposites but partners. As temperature drops slightly, mammals such as tapirs and armadillos emerge, moving quietly, reshaping soil, dispersing seeds, maintaining pathways. WWF researchers describe these animals as ecosystem engineers, working the land gently while the forest sleeps. And as your own breathing slows, you may feel your body responding instinctively to this ancient rhythm. The Amazon at night does not demand attention, it invites surrender, allowing you to rest within a system that knows exactly how to care for itself. And as chapter 5 settles into stillness, the forest hums softly around you, carrying you toward the deepest calm of the journey. Carrying you toward the deepest calm of the journey. And now, dear listener, we arrive at the final chapter where night matures into silence and the Amazon reveals its greatest lesson, that even in rest life continues. Welcome to chapter 6. Remain relaxed, because this chapter is not about discovery, but understanding. As midnight settles across the rainforest, activity slows into harmony. Predators rest, prey hides, insects maintain their gentle chorus, and the forest enters a state scientists call dynamic equilibrium, a balance where nothing stops, yet nothing overwhelms. Research from Conservation International and Greenpeace explains that this balance is what makes the Amazon resilient, capable of adapting to change, while maintaining stability beneath the canopy. Roots continue exchanging nutrients through fungal networks known as mycorrhizae, often called the wood wide web by ecologists, allowing trees to share resources, warn of danger, and support weaker neighbors. This underground cooperation, studied extensively by forest ecologists and shared through National Geographic documentaries, reveals that competition is not the dominant force of nature. Cooperation is above ground. Clouds gather, once more formed from moisture released by leaves, even at night, ensuring tomorrow's rain, tomorrow's growth, tomorrow's life. The Amazon does not sleep in the human sense. It dreams, cycling energy, water, and information continuously. Indigenous knowledge systems, often highlighted by Rainforest Rescue and Amazon Conservation team, have understood this for centuries, teaching that the forest is a living being, not a resource. And as you rest within this dreaming forest, your own mind begins to mirror its rhythm. Thoughts, slow awareness softens and tension dissolves, because your body recognizes safety, stability, continuity. The jaguar rests unseen, the river flows quietly, the canopy breathes, and you are held. Within it all, the Amazon's final gift is reassurance that life does not depend on control, only balance. Not speed but flow, not dominance but belonging. And as this journey gently concludes, allow yourself to drift fully into sleep, carrying with you the ancient calm of the rainforest, knowing that somewhere beneath moonlit leaves, the world is still breathing for you.